So today it was a raining day, and I decided that I shall just collect some water from a shallow accumulation of water in the ground. And here we are, a little bit of water sample, which is here on the slide that you see. And when I observed it, I found a lot of ciliates in this. There are some few organisms also, but then primarily there were ciliates, and I focused on one particular part of the slide, the corner, wherein the ciliates were plenty. Now there are a few ciliates who are um, in the phase of reproduction, so I thought it would be fascinating to watch them separate. So here is the arrangement that I generally do for this live telecast. I'll have these elastic bands fixed at the tripod, and once it is done, the cell phone will slide in here, and then I will bring the cell phone in close approximation with this lens, and when we can see the happenings on the slide. So here I go. It takes about a minute to adjust and stabilize, but once it's done, it's very reliable unless there is a mishap. So we are almost done. 1, 2. So it's pretty stable. Now I need to just bring it in close alignment and proper arrangement. Right, so it's almost through. The tripod is a little unstable today. Need to change it. Rather move this also a bit. So we are all almost set, waiting for the tripod to be finally fixed. Once done, you can already see the happenings on the slide. And now we zoom in. A little bit of arrangement is required. All right, so here is a gathering of some ciliates, which a few of those individuals are in the process of reproduction, and we'll see a few. Just watch them. This one is a little crookedly shaped. doing some arrangements with the condensers so as to highlight them. There is one reproducing. There was one in conjugation. It went ahead. So we shall just focus on one particular part of the slide and see if we find some happenings. What kind of an exchange of messages or information is happening there is, of course, a mystery to us. I'm not sure about the authenticity of the sample. There was one, a pair. It's trying to separate. All right, so in the given frame, we don't find any in the stage of conjugation or any other reproductive action. But there are many of them here, so we are quite hopeful. We keep the search on and we keep proceeding. Sorry for that little technical glitch. There is another pairing, another set. See that. They are in the process of conjugation. Yeah, at least one pair. And it's a very deep connection that they have. I'll try to stay with them and run along the slide. And since they are in the process, they won't be too much in movement, relatively less, but they won't be still. There they are again. I lost them. No, they are here. So in the process of conjugation, the micronucleus, which is the gametic nucleus, it dissolves and the genetic materials are exchanged, which bring about a fresh set of genetic constitution to the organism and sheds the bad mutations. The bad genes are subdued and fresh and promising future oriented genes, they get pronounced. By doing so, the organisms ensure that they survive in better state and physical health, and good traits are accumulated over time. Despite these organisms being self sufficient for reproduction, they don't require a partner. They can reproduce by just splitting in two. But then that essentially means that the new organisms, they carry on with the same set of DNA which was in the original parent, and there is no new part in that DNA. And hence, if that is the only way of reproduction, then over a period of time they would keep on accumulating even those parts of DNA which are not very necessary, or which are rather even harmful. By the mode of sexual reproduction, fresh genes are introduced, different forms of genes are introduced, and more favored genes, they give the animals a better chance of survival, a better chance of carrying on a better life. These are not paramecium. Paramecium are a little bit more elongated, and they have a more pronounced oral groove. They are some other species. I'm not very sure about them, but of course, this much is sure that they are not proper paramecia. Here is another one which is in the stage of binary fission. This one, it's in the stage of binary fission, and we notice that there is a very pronounced groove on the body which shall slowly get constricted to the extent that two bodies are formed from this parent. If we look closely, we don't see what could be termed as the nucleus, because probably the nucleus is in the process of getting reorganized, divided into two, and reorganize itself. So this one, this individual, it's difficult to catch up with him, but he is in the process of binary fission. We lost him. Here it is again, got him. This one. Meanwhile, if we keep searching other parts of the slide, then we find some more, especially at the corners of the slide where the atmosphere. That was again my bad. I shook the microscope. Here we are. I'll take you to a part of the slide where these organisms were lacking some environmental clues, or there was a microclimate which is not very, very conducive, probably, and a few were appearing to undergo cyst formation. Their bodies, their pellicles, they were shrinking and running out in folds. The internal organs, they were dissolving and becoming in a state of dormancy. You can see them trying to pinch off, and they are moving in, rotating in opposite directions. At least some efforts were of that line. At least some efforts were in the way so as to nip off from this little junction through which they have recently exchanged genetic material and have divided the cytoplasm. There are two pairs now. We'll lift that one. This is at an earlier state. It'll take some more time. So we go back to the previous version. Again, we go back to the corner side of the slide where we find a more accumulation of these individuals. Kind of a microclimate which was compelling them towards cyst formation. What you see here are primarily bacteria. We see two types of bacteria here. Some are rod-shaped and some are spherical. Not that rod-shaped, not that elongated. Some are spiral also. If you notice, then the shape of this individual is quite different from the others, and it's becoming more like a pyramid, like a pebble. And you can see that the body is also shrinking. The pellicle is not that pronounced as straight, but becoming convoluted. That was a pair. It is the same pair probably which we were trying to follow for a while as they were trying to separate. If only they would settle down for a while and give us an opportunity. We were lost for a choice. There were two pairs. Here is the other one. Oh, they are together. That's a beautiful flame. So now I'll reduce the magnification, go to a smaller zoom level so that we can get a broader view of things. Here. Just some ciliates carrying on with their basic life forms and doing their own things. will try to stay with this. Rather, these, as they try to carry on with the process of duplicating their own selves, and their lives are not that privatized, we stay with them, observe them, and get fascinated by the simplicity of this majestic phenomena of reproducing an entity having the same set of biological informations as the original one. Here in the center, we see it will take him another hour or so before they separate and one becomes two. So we leave them with their life and hope them a bright future ahead. Thank you for being here.